Hello students, I miss you. Today's March 28th. This is your lesson for next week. So before you start making this spaghetti sauce, you need to go to all the videos first where I put on there how to cut up herbs, garlic, onions, green peppers, mushrooms, and all the stuff getting the mise en place ready for today. So there's a lot of words I want you to know. It's on, I've also uploaded it for you in Classroom, and this video that you're watching right now, of course, is on YouTube, and that's where all the other videos are for how to do your onions and garlic and etc. So anyway, it's good to see you guys. I've washed and sanitized everything just like we were at school. I used 2 bowls, one with hot water and soap, and then the other one with cold water and some bleach. Just if you get enough bleach in there that you're smelling it, it's probably a little bit too strong. I know you don't have your little tabs to check it for your parts per million, but anyway, just add cold water to your bleach. So we're going to get started now. So anyway, when we cook at school, some of you, you don't want meat, and some of you don't want certain vegetables and stuff like that. So to make everybody happy, we're going to start with a marinara sauce that we can use for when we make our toasted ravioli. And this is going to work really great because our 3 meat ravioli doesn't need any meat in the dipping sauce. And for our students that are vegetarians, this marinara sauce doesn't have any meat in it. And then when they eat like the 3 cheese, garlic, and spinach ravioli that we make, then there won't be any meat in the ravioli or in the dipping sauce, either one. So it's going to work out really great. So if my cameraman, you all know Mark, would move over here. This is Mrs. Bosh's spaghetti sauce recipe. So we're going to start with the marinara sauce, which has no meat in it. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to add some vegetables for our vegetarians. And then at the very end we can add the meat. That way you can stop at whatever area you want to, not add some of the vegetables if you don't like them. So this is uploaded for you guys, but we'll just go over it. So it's 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You all know that I like crushed tomatoes rather than using sauce and paste, because I always think that I can taste chemicals in the paste. 1/8 cup olive oil, 2 tablespoons brown sugar. A lot of chefs use carrots instead. You can use 1 carrot instead of your brown sugar. You always use brown sugar with tomato sauce with the acid. It's better than white sugar. You can add a carrot instead to sweeten it with if you'd rather, or you can use a combination of them. A 1/4 cup red cooking wine. I'll use this as my pointer. 1/2 cup onion pureed. 1/4 cup dried Parmesan cheese. 2 cloves of garlic, finely minced. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic salt. 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. So then you have to choose fresh herbs or dry herbs. And dry herbs are great because they're around the house and they don't cost a lot. The thing is, dry herbs, they lose their flavor after about a year. So if you're going to use dry herbs, the best thing for you to do is go to a place like Mama Jean's, someplace that sells in bulk, and just buy a couple tablespoons at a time. That way it's cheap, especially if you're cooking Indian or something. You have tons of spices that you have to buy. And with me, when it's this Italian spice, I don't like thyme, so it's always got too much thyme in it for me. So if you're going to use dried spices, you can mix your own. I'm going to give you what you can do for when you use dried herbs. What you can do here is, this is a 1/2 teaspoon of just Italian seasoning right here, and it's a teaspoon of parsley. So if you are going to use dried herbs, what you do is about 10 minutes before you add water to it, and this reconstitutes it, and it just helps get the flavor going more. But if you use fresh herbs, of course it's more expensive if you have to buy them if you're not growing them. On the fresh herbs, what we've got here is we've got 2 tablespoons of Italian parsley, a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of thyme, a tablespoon of basil, and a bay leaf, which I don't have a bay leaf today. Guys, I can eat thyme if it's fresh. I just don't like the dried thyme. I don't like dried oregano also. Remember, when you're using fresh herbs, though, you have to use 3 times the amount of fresh herbs over dried herbs because they're a lot stronger. If you use dried herbs at the beginning, it becomes a marriage more in the sauce. If you want to make a statement with a certain herb, you just add it right at the end. So today we're going to be using fresh herbs, but like I said before, You can make your own mixture, but if you use this Italian mixture, I wouldn't go past half a teaspoon and then a teaspoon of parsley. Okay, then we're going to reduce this if you want to use it for like dipping. And looks like I put the word tipping there instead of dipping. So, the main thing is too about fresh herbs that you're not really supposed to use fresh herbs if you're going to simmer it over 45 minutes. Okay, so we're going to make the marinara sauce. You can stop there. And then that also, you can use this marinara sauce, thicken a little bit, use it for dipping, or you can use it for pizza sauce if you reduce it and get it thicker. Then we're going to go ahead and go to our vegetarian red sauce. So you just keep your marinara. We're going to use 4 mushrooms, 1/2 cup green peppers that are diced, 1/4 cup drained black olives. And this is optional because we already have onions in the sauce up here and we already have garlic up here. You can add, if you still want to add another 1/2 cup of onions diced for just the texture, and then you can add garlic. But if you add the garlic, when you're sauteing, you have to add it at the end because garlic burns. Once you start smelling the garlic, it's done. Okay, and then you saute all of it, you add it to the marinara sauce. Now you want to keep going, you can make your just traditional spaghetti sauce, red meat sauce. And this red meat sauce, we use 1 pound here, so you can use 1/2 pound of sausage and 1/2 pound of hamburger. That's what I would do, because I just think it tastes better. Or you can use 1 pound of either one. And when you guys are at school and you're frying this meat, you guys just continue to just take your spatula, your vintage spatula, and fry it, and it just gets into these little bitty pieces that looks like sand almost. I would suggest not getting it any smaller than a dime, because when you take a bite of meat, you want to know that that's what you're tasting. So we're going to get started now. We're going to start with the marinara sauce. So I have just a basic size pot right here. We're going to start like the recipe. Okay, now this has been washed and sanitized. I'm going to add 1 can of 28-ounce crush, and I like this. I mean, you can use fresh tomatoes, but they have to be ripe. Do a concassate, take the seeds out, take the skin off, or you can buy whole tomatoes and smash them with your hands. But I think it's, you know, just easier to do this. And that's one of these. This is one of the meals that, you know, we call what's for dinner. So there's 4 things that we want when we cook. You all are going to go out into the workforce. You're going to come home. You're going to be tired. So the 4 things we want to do is we want to make these meals affordable. We want to make them nutritious. We want to make them taste good, and they need to be fast, or you're just going to go out to eat. So it's really important. Okay, meanwhile, I hear the water boiling. So what I have to do, I have to go over here, and we're going to add salt. So this is the pan, of course, the pot that I tell you that I'll buy you if I still like you when you get married. But anyway, this is a great pot because you can also steam in the top of it. So a chef told me once, when you boil pasta, the water should be salty like the ocean. And so I've got 2 gallons of water in here, and I'm just going to add 2 tablespoons of salt, which is not salty like the ocean. But if I add any more, the next video we could do for fun, we could sit around and watch my ankles swell. So I'm just going to go ahead. Remember, safety features here. Tip it away from your face. Okay, boy, that's hot. So 2 tablespoons of salt and 2 gallons of water. And then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil to it. I like to do that. It kind of keeps that white foam down from boiling over. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my pasta. But if my cameraman can keep track of 10 minutes, that would be nice. So, okay, you're not union, so, okay. I can add some things to you. But I mean, I wish it was union. I need my nose powdered right now. I don't know where my makeup person is, and I'm hot. So anyway, I'm going to add this pasta. I'm going to add all of it, but about 1/4 of it. So this is just 1 pound. Pasta is not very expensive at all. So what you need to do is you need to stir that as soon as you put it in. And a lot of people too, when they boil pasta, they don't put enough water in there. So this has water. The pan only goes to here. It's easy to drain. You're supposed to boil lots of water. So I'm going to stir this until all the noodles get under, and then it's going to be about 10 minutes. And a lot of times at school, you guys like to take the pasta, throw it at the windows to make sure that it's done, which is one of our pastimes. But the thing is that usually by the time it sticks, it's too done. So one of your lesson words is al dente, and what that means is firm to the tooth. Because a lot of people, they overcook their pasta, and it's just too done. Now in a restaurant, what they'll do is they'll par cook this pasta, and then, that was really hot, they'll par cook this pasta, and then they'll shock it in cold water, and then when they get an order for it, they'll take the pasta out, they'll put it in a skillet like this, add the sauce to it, mix it around, heat the pasta up, and heat the sauce up at the same time. You could put this whole pound in if you want, and you don't need it, because we're making enough spaghetti to serve 5 people. You can always take the extra noodles and just add like butter and garlic and some Parmesan cheese to it. Okay, back to the marinara. 10 minutes, cameraman. Okay, anyway. All right, so 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes, 1/8 cup of olive oil here. Okay, and then 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. So I waited to do this till you were here. So, you know, white sugar, it's like normal. You take your spatula, you slide it off. On brown sugar, it's supposed to be very, very packed for brown sugar. So there's our 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to put that in. Like I said before, always with tomatoes, you use brown sugar. Or you could add the carrot. But remember, we're trying to make this fast so that you guys will be willing to make this one of your what's for dinner meals. So, let's see, we got the brown sugar in there. 1/4 red cooking wine, because we don't use alcohol in high school. And then we've got 1/2 cup of onions pureed. I did this earlier in the food processor, so it'll actually become part of the sauce, because you know we can use this for pizza sauce too, right? So it's got to be smooth. And then, are you filming some of this down here? You're supposed to be. Okay. And then 1/4 cup dried Parmesan cheese. That when you add this in, you have to stir this a lot. That when you start cooking, because that Parmesan cheese will stick to the bottom. Okay. And then we've got 2 cloves of garlic. Minced this earlier. In here, 2 cloves of garlic, and then 1/2 teaspoon of garlic salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And now we're going to start adding the fresh herbs to this. So the first one we've got, I'm going to save this for later for the garnish. And that's another thing the chefs, they don't like. They don't like it when you garnish with something and then it's not in the meal. So for instance, sometimes you go to breakfast and they put an orange on your egg. Well, that doesn't go too well. So to make the chefs happy, we're going to have parsley in here when we garnish with the parsley later. So that's 2 tablespoons of Italian parsley. We've got a teaspoon of oregano. We've got a teaspoon of thyme. A tablespoon of basil. I love basil. Gosh, pesto's the best, isn't it? Okay, now this is what we're not going to add today. But this is what you could add. Your own mixture, like I said, of dried herbs. So, but I'm making this special today. So we're just using all these fresh ones. Okay, so now, here is the marinara sauce. I'm going to put it on and start simmering it. And it's really 45 minutes. You don't want to go over 45 minutes at all. Okay? So meanwhile, that you can stop right there. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go on now to this, to the vegetarian. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got 2 tablespoons here, measured out, of olive oil. Butter is better. I don't have any butter, or I would definitely be using butter. The only thing is about butter is that it burns easy. So you need to clarify it. We've talked about that before. If not, we can talk about it later. So clarified butter, or you could even use, like, if you don't clarify it, a tablespoon of real butter, tablespoon of olive oil, and by adding some olive oil to it, you raise the smoke point. The whole reason that you don't use butter by itself, see, we don't want to blow up here on national TV. The reason that you don't want to use butter by itself is just the smoking point, and olive oil has a higher smoking point. Clarified butter has a higher smoking point. So you always want to get the fat hot so that when you put the vegetables in there, they don't absorb the fat too much. Okay. Now see, if this all works out perfectly and it all gets done at the same time, you guys are going to be really impressed, right? Because it doesn't work out that smooth at school, does it? My cameraman just can't follow me. See, Mark, what you're supposed to do is there's supposed to be a light on the camera that's on me, see? That way I know what camera to look at. You're going to have to up your game a little bit, Mr. Bosch. Okay. Alright, so the marinara sauce is, you know what's bad about cooking here? I don't have all the kids to do my dishes for me. That's why I really miss you guys. Okay, so we have this on here. I'm gonna go ahead and add the onions, but you wouldn't have to. And we've got all the measurements. Here's the mushrooms that we cut. See, it wasn't hot enough, because it's supposed to make that really nice sound if it's hot enough when you put it in there. I keep turning down the wrong one. Okay, we'll saute this. And the kids always say, well, how do you know when it's done? It's when the onions are translucent. So we don't need to cook the olives at all. So we'll just saute this. The onions will become translucent here in a minute. Hopefully about the time all the pasta gets done. I'll get my presentation plate ready here. As I spill half of the dried spices. Okay. Mark, has it been 10 minutes yet? No. Okay, you can talk. I won't. I'm gonna have a window to throw that noodle because the kids they always want to see if the noodle lasts. Like I said, by the time that it sticks to it, the longer that it's been on. Oh, thank you, Mark. He's just trying to get on camera. He's such a showboat. By the time it sticks, it's usually too done by the time it sticks. The longer it cooks, the stickier it becomes. And you're sure it's not been 2 minutes? It seems like a long time. Okay, I'm going to move this to get ready to drain the pasta. I'm going to get rid of my wash and sanitation water now. We can't stop the video because I don't know how to edit this yet. I'll get better at this, guys. So you're going to have to stay with me and be bored here for a minute. Okay.
10 minutes from you first put it in or when you got it stirred down?
No, when I just stirred it. Huh?
2 more minutes.
Okay. It's starting, the onions are starting, you're starting to be able to see through a little bit. I think you'll be really happy with this sauce here. Might as well let it cook until this gets done. It's been 10 minutes now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add the olives in here. I think that you all know this already, but right before your vegetables get done is when you add the garlic in, because the garlic will burn really easy. And when you start smelling the garlic, you're good. I love garlic. Like my grandmother said, poor man's penicillin. Well, that was close. Okay. I'm going to add the vegetables to it. Add 4 more vegetables in. Now you have red sauce with vegetables. It's time now. We're still simmering here. The pasta's done. Remember safety features. Bring it away from your face. And I've got the wrong burner on. There we go. Okay. So this is why this pan's wonderful here. Gonna bring it over here. Remember what I always told you guys? When you pour hot water down a sink, always add cold water. My dad taught me this. And the reason you always want to add cold water is because the hot water is really hard on the pipes. So I've started the cold water here. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and put the cold water running in there to cool that down. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and dump that out. And hopefully the pipes won't go too bad. Okay, so here's the pasta. Now, in a restaurant, what they would do is just part cook this like I said earlier. And then a lot of times they shock it, they put it in ice water so it stops the cooking. Okay, now for the last step here, we're simmering this. Here's the meat. This is half sausage, half hamburger. I've drained it. If you all don't have a colander at home, you can put paper towels on a plate and you can drain the grease off of it. So now we're going to add the meat to it and we're done. That's your spaghetti sauce there, or it's a red meat sauce. So I'm going to make another video and I'm going to be talking to you guys about different kinds of like bolognese sauce that's different. Everybody thinks that's a meat sauce, but that's got white wine in it. It's either got milk or cream in it. And then there's ragu. People get confused. And a ragu sauce is a lot like a red spaghetti meat sauce, but the difference is that it's really thick. It's not much of a sauce. It's super, super thick. Okay, so in America, what everybody does, I guess because of Lady and the Tramp, they put this spaghetti on here, and then they'll just take the sauce here, and then remember this should have simmered about 45 minutes, and then they put it on top. But in Italy, what you're supposed to do is this should all be very mixed. You're supposed to coat the noodles with it, and I didn't throw a noodle. I wonder if it's too late. Here, we'll see. Oh, it didn't stick. That's good. That means that we pulled it in time. If it doesn't stick. Okay, good, perfect. If it sticks, it's just a little too done. Okay, so we want to add the meat sauce. This will serve 5 big helpings. Coat the noodles. Okay, now, if you have fresh Parmesan cheese or Romano, you can. If you don't, you can put on dried Parmesan cheese on the top here. So I'm going to put some nice fresh cheese on here. And then I'm going to add the garnish. And there you go. 3 sauces, all made fast, can stop at any point you want to. Enjoy.